Back on Get Up, delighted to have Louis Riddick here, so we'll do a special edition of Is That Riddick-ulous? Yesterday, Shannon Sharpe said the Steelers are the best team in the AFC. Louis, do you think that is ridiculous?
Yeah, I do think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's outlandish, but it's ridiculous. Look, Buffalo still right now, I believe, considering what they did to Kansas City at home, without being 100%, I think that's very, very impressive. But Pittsburgh still has to prove that they can have an explosive component to their offense on a consistent basis. It's coming with Russ and George Pickens, and the defense is lights out. What are they, second in the NFL right now in points scored, points allowed? So they're right there, but they're not the top team in the AFC, but they're close. They're getting there. If that offense continues to develop, look out for this team.
All right, next one is on the Colts. I know you've had a lot to say about Anthony Richardson, so if people say that benching him was a mistake, would that be ridiculous?
Yeah, it is ridiculous. He needed to sit down for the short term, especially if you are to believe what are some of the things coming out of there about him needing to really kind of look inward about his professionalism, his preparation, how much he was really investing into the game to make sure that when he got out on the football field, he could look like he did against the Jets. It was never going to be a long-term thing. What was ridiculous was people saying that he's a bust and that he never needed to start again, which there were some people out there trying to compare him to people like Jamarcus Russell. You should just shut your mouth and not talk about football anymore. This kid is the truth. He showed that against the New York Jets. Now it's up, and away for Anthony Richardson.
All right, I got one more, and this one's on the Bears. I want to show you the Bears' remaining schedule before I ask you the question. After another heartbreaking loss, they've lost 4 straight, and look, it does not get any easier.
Oh,
they've
my
got
goodness.
all these division games, Vikings and Lions, Niners. You see the games they have sitting there. So if someone said, you know what, the Bears aren't going to win another game this whole year, would that be ridiculous?
That's not ridiculous at all. I mean, just look at it right there. You see how hot Seattle can get when Geno is really on. And if that defense continues to improve, you tell me where the win is. I just don't see it right now. And especially when it comes down to one-score games and tight moments. We've already seen how this team has dropped the ball numerous different times in terms of their game management when it comes to those kind of situations. And look, I'm still a believer in Caleb Williams. I think the whole thing is going to need to be reset ultimately, Greeny. They're going to need to start over from scratch in order to give this kid a chance and this organization a chance to really reach its potential. But as far as them being winless the rest of the year, I could totally see that happen.
Well, so they just suffered their second loss of the season on a heartbreaking final play. A lot of criticism of Matt Eberflus after he did not try and gain additional yardage to get a shorter field goal opportunity for Cairo Santos. Yesterday, they brought the question up to him again, and he doubled down on the decision.
Yeah, I mean, where the conditions were and where we were in the game, I would say, yeah, I would do the same. I mean, would you like to be closer? Yeah, sure. You'd like it to be at the 15-yard line, but it is where it is.
Matt, prior to that field goal, do you know that Cairo Santos is a perfect 70 out of 70 under 40 yards when you're kind of approaching and thinking about, where you should kick it at?
Yeah, but again, we felt good where it was.
So, Nick, after the way he handled the,
I'm not quite sure he did know that stat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call him a liar. That's not what I'm saying. But the reporter clearly asked him, were you aware of the fact that your kicker was perfect from this distance in?
Inside of 40
kind of like,
yards.
yeah, and he just kind of like was like, well, yeah.
It's hard to see. I mean, regardless, the concept that closer is better is certainly is one he's aware of.
It's not novel,
But it is.
regardless
But
of the
those 5 yards are. I will say
You're
this:
right.
being in that situation, I had a very simple situation but my special teams coach, Bubba, in my ear. Not good at this distance. Like right away, tell you that special teams coach knows. He knows exactly what yard he feels most, and he will tell you. So if Eberflus didn't know, his special teams coach will be in your ear saying, "Hey, he's lights out at this number."
But his initial explanation, I want to give this to Nick here. His initial explanation was that they didn't run a play because things can go wrong. You might fumble. Any number of things bad things might happen, and he was heavily criticized for saying that because you're playing so into a very unlikely negative scenario as opposed to trying to make something happen. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a scared way to coach, but Eberflus is in a situation where he gets the opposite of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And I think, that's a bad one. You could call him out on that, but that's not the problem. The problems are much bigger than this last late game decision. That was a makeable field goal. It's fine. Should he have taken another chance to like move the ball a little more? Once you miss it, absolutely. If he hits it, then we don't talk about it. It's not like he asked his field goal kicker to kick a 65-yarder. Like, it's a reasonable, makeable field goal. That line got pushed back and it got blocked. That was more an execution to me than it was on that particular decision being made.
And if they run a play there and Caleb Williams takes a 9-yard sack, which is well within the range of potential outcomes, then he's getting ripped for that decision too.
But can I disagree with that?
Yeah.
What?
Because the most important thing they're doing right now is developing their quarterback.
Right.
So if he does that, which of course he shouldn't do, that's a learning experience for a young player and a mistake he'll never make again.
Sure,
And the
but he's
problem
trying to win
you
a
have-
game, though.
I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, Greeny, if that's
What are the chances that if you call a play where he might take a 9-yard sack, then I guess I would understand
this is
what
where
you're
I feel
saying.
like I have to defend Eberflus is you would not be saying that if they called that play and he got a 9-yard sack. You would say, why are you throwing the ball in this situation?
Why not just
Eberflus is an idiot. Why not kneel it and kick it?
Yeah.
Because if you get it blocked, then you could down it and go again. Like,
But no one is sitting here saying they should have taken a 7-step drop and thrown the ball down the field. You run the freaking ball.
I'm gonna come to your defense here. Look, information is power in the NFL, right?
For sure.
As you're just talking about.
Yeah.
Your special teams coach is in your ear telling you.
Yes.
At this distance, we see what the disparity was between whether he
75%
would make
to
it
100.
versus not make it.
Right.
And he's
That's a
sitting
big
there.
difference.
I would assume someone was telling Matt, this isn't good right
No,
here.
yeah,
And
we
if
ain't
you're
good.
sitting there going, well, you know what, I'm kicking it anyway because we could fumble the snap or Caleb could take a sack, then you're right. You have much bigger problems.
It was
And you know
second
what?
down. Just for anyone who didn't see it, this is the previous play.
Yeah.
So now it's second down.
Yeah.
You see the clock ticking. They have a timeout. They have a myriad of options, right? There's any number of things they could do.
Right.
And this is what they chose to do. Now, Domonique, you're right. Sometimes we play the result. If he makes the field goal, no one is talking about this. But a coach's job is to give his team the best opportunity at every turn to win the game. And it seems to me fairly obvious that he was afraid to do it for fear of what might go wrong. And that is the problem sometimes when you have a lame duck coach and a rookie quarterback where his biggest concern is trying to save his own job and not developing the young quarterback. Put the kid in a situation where he can try and make a big play late in the game and feel good about himself.
How about this? How about just put your team in a position
hand
to
the ball
possibly
off.
win the game?
Hold on. He did do that. That drive, it started with back-to-back sacks, and then Caleb made 2 incredible plays to get them in position to kick this field goal. I imagine what he is thinking in that moment is, we have this momentum. Caleb's played a good game. Let's kick this field goal. And I'm not saying that at that point, you're right. It's second down. Run the ball again. Do a boot so that you give Caleb the opportunity to throw it away if there's not a problem.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you that there are other decisions that should have been made, but it feels like what we are saying, what you want, is slightly different because so let's say they do some sort of boot action, they call hold it. What you're going to say is that they should never have done that. If they hand the ball off and things go wrong, so like I agree, he should not be coaching scared. But this is more about what you thought about Eberflus before than it is about what happened in that specific moment.
And big picture, this is why he's in a no-win situation right now. Everything he does is wrong, and everyone assumes they're going to move on at the end of this year. We assumed it last year, they didn't, but it seems more realistic now. But that's the issue, right? Like you're talking about, is he coaching to save his job? I always feel uncomfortable projecting that because I think I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he's earnest, that he's trying to win and he wants Caleb Williams to succeed, and that he thought he was doing the right thing. He says, we felt good with where we were on the field. That presumes he had heard from his special teams coach.
See, that's where this whole thing falls apart. There's no way in hell he could feel good about where he was on the field because the statistics don't back it up.
It was
They don't back it up, though.
That's a very makeable field goal.
Yeah, but you're at 75% conversion rate versus 100%, but with 4 yards or 5 yards.
Assuming they're getting to 4 yards. There's all
Well, if
kinds
you
of-
don't,
You can
call
try.
timeout and you'll take your
and kick it
75
anyway.
If it was third down, I get it, but it's second down.
You have a lose 10 yards on that next play. Again, the drive started with consecutive.
It just feels like
I'm not saying go throw it. I'm not saying go throw it.
One at a time. Go ahead.
Do you see where we're at in terms of this discussion with the Bears? What does this tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're Bears management right now, what are you going like? I'm blowing this whole thing. I'm out of here with this. Because that's what we're talking
You can't
about.
give up a block. I mean, the whole
biggest
thing.
mystery of the day I just figured out is like Jeff showed up in the suit and the tie today, and I was like, why are you so dressed nice? It's that time of year where you're. It's that time of year. It's that time of year. It's that time
7 years.
Yo,
Jeff,
looking
you
for somebody.
sneaky dog.
I like it. Somebody, you got 7, 8 games.
Shot-town, I'm with you.
7, 8
I'm
games.
with you.
It's about the time. It's about Saturday time.
That's why Jeff says. That's why.
Saturday time.
A couple weeks late, actually. A couple weeks late.
It's Saturday
I like
time.
it.
Holla at him. You see that time?
Well played. Well played.
We may have an opening for you, too. I mean, we can talk after the show. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. How would you like to coach Aaron Rodgers next year? Coming up.
Take the tie off. Take it off.